Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning all things automotive car talk show, In Wheel Time. Just ahead, a review of our pre-owned car of the week, the 2016 Mercedes-Benz E-Class wagon. We'll have a rundown of cruise-ins that you might be interested in. We'll have This Week in Automotive History and the stories making automotive news headlines along with a couple of guests. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time car show for Saturday, December 26th, 2020. It's the post-Christmas show. Howdy along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin over there, who actually has a camera on him.
But he
can
won't,
you throw
but
that?
He don't.
There he is.
There he is.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Ta-da.
See, somebody keeps on writing on the Facebook page, we need more Jeff.
And there we are.
And I appreciate that. I'm going to leave the shot up all the whole 2 hours, 3 hours.
I think you should. That's exactly what you should do. You kind of washed out there.
There you go.
Anyway. So glad that you could join us. I hope you got what you wanted for Christmas and are COVID-free. And if you're not COVID-free, I hope that things are going well for you. We had somebody at work that came down with COVID.
Oh, my.
I wasn't near them. And,
At the station or at the helicopter?
no, I don't go to the station.
Okay.
They won't let me in. No, seriously,
with
seriously.
his
Ever
picture.
since the COVID thing, there's no visitors allowed. I mean, some of the reporters are now every once in a while go in, but most folks are out.
Working remote. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll be darned.
there's that. Anyway, do we have our first guest?
Yes, sir.
Are you teasing me?
No, I'm not. He's here.
He's ready.
I can hear him.
See, okay.
Good to go.
Well, let's jump over and talk to a fellow by the name of James Rogerson, and he is with the
You
Winter.
don't see him?
I don't see him.
I'm sorry.
I see him.
Well, maybe we don't. We have him, but Jeff doesn't have
Okay,
him.
well,
No.
all right.
Mr.
Well,
Rogerson,
when you
hold
guys,
on a
when
few
you guys
seconds.
get
We'll
your
be there shortly.
get your act together there, then you'll let me know. I do have a couple of things that I wanted to do, and
It's always a new experience.
no, Jeff is going to be doing a review on his pre-owned car of the week, which is the 2016 Mercedes-Benz E-Class wagon. So I just happened to have a list of the 9 all-time favorite wagons according to Haggerty.
Oh, okay. Well,
I love
I'm
this
assuming
segment.
there's a couple of Oldsmobiles on there.
Let's just take a look, shall we? The 1981 to 1987 AMC Eagle.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I remember
That's
that.
on the list. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of before Subaru got famous for their four-wheel drive. That
Right.
was a four-wheel drive
And
or an all-wheel drive.
And it really wasn't bad looking.
Nope.
It did, and I think that they sold a bunch of them. The theme was let's see, from 4 to 6 figures, round up to 9 favorite wagon. The theme was inspired by the Wagon Queen family truckster. So we're going to move on from the 81 to 87 AMC Eagle.
a lot of good it did them.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody loves our wagons. And
Well,
we're going to
you
go
know, we
ahead.
were
I
talking,
love wagons.
We were talking about the Mercedes-Benz. Well, one of them is the 1979 through 1985 Mercedes-Benz S123 wagon.
Huh.
Wow.
I'll pass that.
I didn't realize that Mercedes made that many wagons, but
Well,
yeah.
You,
Now I know which one this is.
it's that.
Still don't see many of them, but yeah.
Correct. Here's one. The 1948 Marmon Harrington Super Deluxe station wagon. And you probably will remember this from Holiday Inn, the movie Holiday Inn. Remember that? I should have given Jeff the pictures, but
Woody.
I didn't. It was a Woody. Yeah. Pretty cool car, I think.
And you know why they made Woodies, right?
Well, I think
Was it less expensive than the
No,
steel?
it was because
World War II.
because the hold on metal for
yeah.
the war effort
Well,
of
that's
World
true,
War II.
here's one. Now, this is considered a wagon, kind of. The 1973 to 1991 Chevrolet Suburban.
Oh, I don't consider that a wagon.
That was more of a panel van, wasn't it?
No.
It still is a panel. It still
Well,
is a big
it's
sporty
based on a
utility.
truck, but remember, at the beginning of the Suburban, and I mean, it goes way
Way back
before
into the
that.
30s.
But one of the things is that it really didn't have all the flexibility that today's Suburban does.
Well, yeah.
You couldn't take out the third row. You had to unbolt it if you wanted it out of there.
And there was no rear door on the driver's side. The only rear door was on the passenger side.
Yeah. And it had some sort of funkitated clamshell back end with the tailgate.
But that was for delivery purposes. We pull up on the passenger side the door because it was
That's
for
the
delivery on the
technical term.
curbside.
Correct.
2006 to 2008 Dodge SRT8 Magnum.
I love that.
That
I
is,
love that.
Stan
With a
used to
Hemi.
have one of those.
Yeah,
You're getting ahead
yeah.
of me. You're getting ahead of me because that's what this is compared with at the end. So
Well, you didn't have to spoil it by telling us now.
you.
You could have.
I like the Magnum.
The
I thought that was-
1967 Ford Country Squire.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Classic.
With the vinyl wood
Can you?
grain.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you had one of those today? You'd be the talk of the town.
Wasn't that the Brady Bunch car?
Yes, and back then, you think about the third row today; it's always facing forward,
face the
and
other
then the Chevrolets and the Buicks and the Oldsmobiles, the third row faced rearward. In the Country Squire, the third row faced inward.
Right.
So you sat with your back to the side window, facing the center of the car.
So right or
Because
left,
of all of the complaints that people would get through the highway department that the kids are throwing signs out the back window facing oncoming traffic.
Now
How about the 1994 to 1996 Buick Roadmaster?
Oh yeah.
2021 Audi RS6 Avant.
Yeah, but they don't.
No.
They say popular. They didn't sell any.
I don't think that's
2008 HSV Club Sport R8 Tourer.
HSV Club Sport. Oh, come on.
And let's not forget the 60s Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser.
Vista
Oh,
Cruiser,
yeah.
which was the one with the glass
on the
in
top
the ceiling. There.
Yeah, sort of like a Vista train. You had the viewing
Vista
car,
View, right.
Vista View train car.
And those are actually quite collectible today. You got to
They are.
remember back then, those came. Most of the Vista Cruisers were 455s in that little A body. Beasters.
My aunt and uncle had one, and we went from Birmingham down to Pensacola Beach, where they had a summer place down there. And they put the Bulldog up on the passenger side floor, footwell. And the dog had a gas problem. And all the way there.
Don's still doing that today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the dog. No,
It's always the dog.
Poor Suze.
That's why I always have a dog around, so I can blame those sort of malfunctions on the dog. And everybody
Exactly.
believes it. All right, do we have James ready?
Yes,
we
sir.
do.
All right, James Rogerson, and he is joining us now. James, apologies, we had some sort of a technical issue on this end. Imagine that. But, James, it's good to talk to you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today. The Winter Enduro. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the MSR Houston, we try to support our members with something to do on the holidays when almost everyone else is shut down. And we started out probably 10 years ago doing Australian pursuits with Miatas, and that's kind of built up over a time until we're added in Enduros last year, and then this year we're just going to do an Enduro.
Explain what an Enduro is for our viewers and listeners that don't really know what an Enduro is.
Yeah, an Enduro, I know more motorcycles than I do from cars, but, it's an endurance race where you get to go out and see how long you and your vehicle can stand it. It's the best way to put it.
That's a perfect way to put it. How long we can stand it. Well, that's perfect. Well, so where is the Winter Enduro taking place?
In MSR Houston and Angleton, Texas, we're one performance drive. We're just off 288 headed towards Jackson from Houston.
And when does the event take place?
1 o'clock today. We run 1 to 5, 4 hours.
4 hours, kind of like going from here to Dallas.
Yeah, something like that with the bathroom break.
Yeah, so what?
Well, so there's a Buc-ee's down there too, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you always got to stop
We're
at
the-
Buc-ee's on the way to Dallas.
So what?
Yeah, well, Lake Jackson is the home of Buc-ee's. We're the porcelain capital of the world.
So what kind of cars are you going to see if we go down there?
We split them up into 3 groups: Spec Miatas and B-Spec, which is all your B-Series cars, anywhere from a Fiat 500 to a Sonic, a Chevy Sonic, GLC Minis, Fits, vehicles like that. And then our third group is kind of a catch-all, and we've got all those that most of the major groups, SCCA, NASA, don't really let in. We let the Lemons guys in, the WRL, the old WRL cars, champ cars or chump cars as they're called.
Chump cars.
Yeah. And then some of the IT cars that have been orphaned off. And so we just bundle those guys all up together. And after I see who shows up, then I decide who wins and who doesn't.
That's perfect.
So he can be bought.
So just everybody on the track,
absolutely.
Everybody on the track all at once.
Absolutely, yes. The part of the deal is it's kind of like running the Daytona 24-hour, where you've got really, really fast cars and really, really slow cars, and buyer beware.
Yeah. So you got to be careful.
The slow cars have got a real responsibility to pay attention to what's coming up behind them,
especially in that rear view mirror.
Right.
So do the fast cars go out first and the slow cars go out second, or they just mix?
Throw them out there.
James,
kind
you're
of
going
like
to be
shotgun
out there
start.
with them all the time anyway, so you might as well just get out there and go.
Got it. All right, so we're going to put you on hold for just a minute while we're going to try to fix the audio problem here. And in the meantime, we can sit and talk about that. The Enduro races, you really don't see that so much anymore. Mm-hmm. And so it's a timed event, and I guess it goes by class typically. And I assume that they put the fastest in one class, the medium fast in another class, and slow in another class.
Well, yeah, he said Spec Miata, which is, probably one of the most popular road racing series out there because Miatas are so affordable. And then the Spec Miata, everybody's basically running to a degree a similar car. They're all they got some balance of performance for different year models of Miatas to make sure everybody's running about the same. And there's a lot of those around, people looking to race them. And what an opportunity to go down to MSR today and throw it on the track and chase it around. And then he said B-Spec, which is kind of the little 4-cylinder race cars. And I guess he's going to have some, there's room for everybody else in his top line class as well. But this is not a 24 hours of lemons. This is people with serious race cars that are on the track for 4 hours, not people that are just going out and buying a $500 beater and throwing it on the track.
Well, as a matter of fact, speaking of such a thing, I knew somebody that bought a $2,000 Miata that was pretty much wore out. And so what they did was they painted it, they put a roll bar in it, and they put whatever specifications that you have to get on the track on it, bought a helmet, and away they went. And I think that there are cars out there like that you can buy. Obviously, if they're already designed to get on the track immediately, then it's going to be a little bit more because they've got more money into it.
So first
roll bar and that sort of thing.
You got to get the rule book first.
Well, that would probably behoove you. Yeah. Although I never lived by the rule book.
Well, a lot of people get the rule books or so they can find how they can cheat.
There you go.
Where can I kind of follow the rules but circumvent it a little bit so I'm just a little bit faster than everybody else in my class?
Well, I have to tell you that when I was showing the Corvette, the original Corvette, I never really paid any attention to the rule book as to what class I was going to show the Corvette in. And it cost me. But I didn't care about that at the time. I wanted to make the car look like I wanted it to look. I didn't care what class it was in.
It's your car.
It was my car. Well, then I got a little bit more serious about it, and I wound up in one of two classes. One was street modified at the time, street modified. Well, then that threw me in a class where guys could put, big spoilers on the back, do a lot more things to it than I did, but I was thrown into that class.
And those things have evolved to today's modified vehicles as well, that they have on, you see at the auctions, they call it a modified or stock mod or pro mod, that they run through the auction block and shows where they've done things to the engine or the body.
Yeah, most of the time you really can't tell about the engine other than maybe a swapped out air cleaner and some headers or something like that. You really don't know what they've done to the inside of the motor. For me, I never really messed inside.
One of the other cool things about this is it's quite affordable. I'm on the website, and it's $100 an hour per car to race. So you can throw your car on the track for $400, and then your cost of being on track as well. So it's not a real expensive endeavor to go out there and throw your car on the track and race.
Is that comparable to other events and their other
No, that's
organizations?
actually quite a bit cheaper than anything else you can go do.
Well, James, we're going to try to get you back on the air here once again and come back to you and see if our audio has improved any. But at any rate, I guess that you heard part of our conversation there. We were kind of dissecting the whole thing about this racing event that you've got this afternoon. I find it interesting that you've scheduled it the day after Christmas. Is this pretty typical for you guys?
Apparently not, because it looks like he can't hear us.
I can't hear. Okay. Well, we'll hopefully get back to him, and if not, we're going to continue the conversation about enduro racing. And these kind of events actually take place across the country, and they're put together by different organizers or promoters, whatever you want to call it. And they work for several months putting this together. And once you're inside the loop, like, for instance, an SCCA event, that sort of thing, you find out about these kinds of things. And plus, you make friends, and they say, hey, man, you going to come down here to the race this weekend?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
what race?
And it spreads like wildfire within the community. And what we're trying to do with the show is get the word out that these type of events are there quite often. MSR has got lots of events all the time. You can go to MSRHouston.com and see all of the other events that they've got going on. And most all of the time, whatever event they have, spectators are free. They charge the drivers to come and put the car on the track, but the spectators are free. So if you're looking for a little bit of local racing action, dropping into MSR to enjoy some road racing, some local road racing action is going to be pretty easy to do.
And, there are tracks like MSR all across the country. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I think that there's another one around the region, and I can't remember. I want to say
it's one in Crescent.
Well, up north of Houston, I think, somewhere off of 59. I don't recall exactly, but I know that there are tracks like that, and they range in length from a mile to 2.5 miles.
Do you think they do that because of the enthusiasts that, you let them in at no charge, that maybe get inspired to say, hey, that looks fun?
I don't think that they do it for that reason, though.
But that's one
But
reason.
I think there's that benefit happens as well. Is now all of a sudden I go watch a couple of them, and after watching a couple of them, I can bring Mom's Buick. Throw Mom's Buick.
Let me tell you something. If there were a track like that back in the day, I probably would have taken Mom's Buick down there. Or she wouldn't have known.
Dad's Oldsmobile, but you got to clean the trunk out.
Yeah, there is that. Well, I tell you what, that's good for weight transfer in the back end.
Except all the stuff is transferring from side to side.
Not in your car. It's so jam-packed in there, it doesn't move. You kidding? You got to kind of move stuff around so you could close the trunk lid.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So we got him back?
Now, so I want to talk to you a little bit more about your Oldsmobile. Did you ever race that car?
No. Not.
Do you know any history about the car?
Little bit. I have my assumptions about the car because from what I can see...
Is it a 70?
70. From what I can see is it spent its whole life in Oklahoma until the guy bought it out of Oklahoma. And he took it to Dallas-Fort Worth, and then I bought it from him. But it looks like it spent its whole life in the Oklahoma area. And
no rust.
No rust. And looking at the car, living when I was working for Oldsmobile, the manufacturer's world, when you ordered a car, if I ordered a car for a company car, I'd load it up. Well, my car is relatively loaded up for a 70 model, factory air.
What's it missing?
The key.
the ignition switch at the moment. Power windows and locks.
It's got crank windows.
It's got crank windows, but it's got factory cruise control. It's got the AM/FM 8-track.
Is the cruise control with that little bitty ball and chain thing
Vacuum?
up there?
Yep, the transducer.
Yeah.
It's got the two speedometer cables. One goes to the transducer on the fender, and then the other.
But it was the bomb back in the day.
Yep.
And it worked fine.
Yeah.
They worked fine. It wasn't as sensitive as they are here. You'd still get the cruise control. You still get about a 5-mile-an-hour variance in it, but it works. So.
Did it have factory air?
Yep. Mine's got factory air, and actually it still has the R11 or the R12 in it. It never was converted over to R134, and you can still buy R12.
Well, what is it, $1,000 an ounce?
No, it's about $25 a can is what I paid for it.
So what would the conversion cost you if you wanted to do that? Or would it devalue the vehicle? If you
I
converted
don't
it?
think it would devalue the vehicle. I think the big thing for the conversion is I have to change the condenser. The compressor isn't a problem with it. You got to get it all cleaned out, and then I'd have to change the condenser. So in an air conditioning system, the condenser is what changes the gas back to a liquid. So it condenses the refrigerant back to a liquid. And then the evaporator, which is inside the car, is where it turns from a liquid to a gas, and as it turns to a gas, that's what creates the cold, or that's what creates the heat absorption.
Cool.
It seems like it's just opposite the way it should be.
Yeah.
Well, it condenses it under the hood. It expands it under in the dash. So, and it works.
I was alluding to something else, but nobody picked up on it. But that's okay.
No, because you just blame the dog.
Yep.
Exactly.
I didn't want to go there, but I knew.
See why didn't you want to go there?
Didn't want to go there.
Okay. Anyway, and we're going to have this later on in the show, but we always do a feature called the Racing Calendar, and I know that the Daytona stuff is coming up in January, and the only place that you would ever have any kind of an event in January would be Florida.
Right. So
you don't have to do that whole thing.
I don't have
to. I was just saying that. Racing is kind of on hold across the country, except down in Florida.
Well, there's a lot of testing is going on right now, so
for all the different categories.
Categories are testing. F1's testing, IndyCar's testing, IMSA's testing, NASCAR's testing, NHRA is testing.
Tony Stewart is testing NHRA.
I saw that. I saw that story.
And his new girlfriend, Leah Pruitt, is getting him involved.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. He's, I guess, I don't know him to call him Smoke, but, he's driven lots of different cars.
I heard that he is a total jerk.
I've heard that too, but then I've also heard that he's actually a pretty gregarious type personality.
I've met him a couple of times years ago with Oldsmobile when he was running IRL, which was before NASCAR, and he was the nicest person. I was there with Oldsmobile at the Indy 500 in '97, which was the first year the Oldsmobile engines ran, and walking through the pits, and he was the nicest person. He stopped and talked, but I think he was still becoming somebody at that point.
Let me ask you about that. Oldsmobile and racing and engines. So when the Oldsmobile brand went away, did they go away with the engines as well?
Yeah, and they just renamed them Chevrolets, in IRL. And
but okay. But as far as production engines were concerned, were they all common engines when Oldsmobile went away? Shared blocks and stuff like that for GM?
Depending on what racing series you were in IRL, which was the Indy Racing League, that was the Oldsmobile Aurora V8.
Right.
And that was relatively exclusive to Oldsmobile engine. A lot of shared technology with the Cadillac Northstar, but a smaller version of it. And that was an exclusive engine to Oldsmobile. It wasn't used by anybody else.
Wasn't the Aurora like a takeoff or a type of model like the Riviera at the time from Oldsmobile to Buick?
Yeah.
The Aurora was like
They were shared platforms.
Cousin of the
Riviera
Buick,
was a 2-door. The Aurora was a 4-door.
Right.
And then Oldsmobile had the DRCE, the drag race competition engine, which was the 500-inch
Who was
aluminum. Oldsmobile. They built the DRCE.
Really?
And that was the Pro Stock motor of choice at the time.
Had been Warren Johnson.
Warren Johnson and that whole crew of Larry Morgan, Mark Powick, all those guys that were running Oldsmobiles back then. That was an Oldsmobile. And it was a derivative of a Mark IV big block Chevy that Oldsmobile took and
454.
did all of their stuff to it to make a 500 cubic inch. And with that, in the alcohol category, Alan Johnson and Blaine Johnson did a supercharged alcohol injected version of that and were extremely successful.
Well, I guess that to wrap up this segment, all I can tell you is that head down to Motorsports Resort, or is it Motorsports Ranch? I think it's Resort.
No, I think it's Resort now.
Yeah.
It was Ranch. Now it's
keep
Resort.
it straight, but at any rate. Coming up, we're kind of behind schedule, so we're going to kind of move things around a little bit because we got a little wordy.
Squirrel.
Word. No, not squirrel. Just word.
Because we need to get Jeff's car review in, but it's not going to happen right now. Is that okay?
That's fine with me.
Because
whatever you got to do.
Okay. Because we're running behind, and, this show is cut up into podcasts. And if we go over a certain length, then the podcast doesn't really become a podcast anymore. It becomes another show. So if we can keep it within 30 minutes, I think that we're good. And that's why I'm kind of sitting here padding just a little bit of time because
to get the 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm having to move Jeff's car review. Yes, Mr. Mars, were you trying to say something?
Yes, I think we got
Well, just a moment. Because you've been over there and all nice and quiet, and I just cut you off. What?
I know.
What was it that you're telling
So
me?
I think we've got James situated, but I thought we would, since we've got an issue with our other video at 9:52, I thought we'd bring James back for just a couple of minutes to wrap up.
Good idea.
But we seem to have all the technical issues corrected at the moment.
Okay, well, it only took us 30 minutes, but we got it, huh?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Well,
What?
it's
It's not 9:52. It's 8:26.
So
I'm
James will be back in a little bit.
Is it daylight savings time or East?
No, I think that there's been too much liquor served amongst the
Hello.
crowd here, and
Hello.
it's a little bit of a hangover, and nobody knows what the hell they're doing.
What was in
Well,
that breakfast?
there is that, but I'm afraid liquor's not involved in it.
What was in the
Yeah.
breakfast this morning? There's something in the breakfast?
Yeah, probably. Some peyote or something.
But go to Houston Mortor Sports Resort today at 1 o'clock and watch the Enduro racing.
Yeah.
It should be a hoot.
Yeah, if you're not
Be a
doing
lot of fun.
anything.
And the other fun thing about that is, you're not only at the track, you're in the pits. The only thing you have to do is watch out for cars that are moving around as they're going on and off track. One of the other things I noticed is if you make a pit stop, it's a 5-minute pit stop in the Enduro racing. So all of the pit stops are 5 minutes long. So it gives you a chance to jump out and change drivers.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with more of the In Wheel Time program after a quick break. I want to remind you that our show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcast, Pandora, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break. TruckWorks is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas TruckWorks delivers. Let Texas TruckWorks founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas TruckWorks has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas TruckWorks team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, January 16th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event. The Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupe founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy. The In-Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupe's in Katy, weather permitting. That's it for this podcast episode of the In-Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.